Uh, what's up, everybody? Shawn here with another Live to Roll. We are back this week after a long travel weekend at the Abilities Expo in Houston. So let's just get into a
Woo.
couple quick intros because I'm a little tired, and we'll get into the show. So yeah, my name is Shawn. I'm a C5, C6 quadriplegic from a snowboarding accident 18 years ago. Tom, why don't you go ahead?
What up, everybody? Tom Conaway, C5'6" quadriplegic as well. Yeah, recently coming at you from Houston, but now I'm back in Cali, and happy to be so. Although I just wanted to, big shout out to the state of Texas and the city of Houston. Like it was incredibly welcoming. The people were absolutely beautiful, and the experience was like super wonderful while we were there hanging out in H Town. So just wanted to give a big shout out to everybody. That was super, super cool. Bobby, you want to take it?
Oh, what
Ooh,
happened,
Bobby, you're muted.
Bobby?
Oh no, son of a gun. In the meantime, let's toss it on over to Bentley. You mind introducing yourself, bro?
You might have to hop off
What's
and on,
up?
Bobby. What's up?
I'm Bentli. I'm an L2 partial, L3 incomplete. It'll be 9 years next month from a gunshot wound.
All right.
And
Yeah.
big shout out to Bentley. Bentley's from Amarillo, Texas, and we were searching for some Live to Roll fam to come out and help represent. And as any of you regulars know, she's been a guest host on here a couple times, and is awesome human being. So she was cool enough to come out, hang out at the booth all weekend with us, and help us move some merch, introduce us to some awesome friends in Texas, and it was super, super cool. So big shout out to Bentley too. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
out this weekend. We
Thank
really
you. I
appreciate
had a
it.
blast.
Yeah. And Bobby, we got audio back?
Maybe you tell
Yeah.
me.
No,
Check.
No,
you're
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 good,
good
man.
now.
We're
You're
I
good.
don't
good.
know. It was weird. Yeah, maybe the same problem you had, Bentley, just a little bit earlier. It showed me I wasn't on mute, but then weird. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome. I'm Bobby Rohan, C5, C6, quadriplegic. I am not as tired as these three who worked their ass off in Houston. So big round of applause for them. Welcome everybody in the chat, and
What up,
can't
Paul?
wait to hear the stories. And a little that I caught, sounds like Tom's got a lot to say this today. So we
Don't
might
I
have to
always
get
have a lot to say, Bobby? Like
probably
you can't
probably a
ever
little
shut
bit.
me up.
I mean, there's only one story because I've also seen this happen way early on. I think it was like my second or third time flying, but I want to hear how you hit the floor. So that's the one that one, and probably something maybe not I should have told you. Like or Shawn, he was right next to you or on the same plane, but he should have told you, like, when you hit and land, you gotta like hold on for dear life sometimes.
I did not
That
know that, and
that
I'm
is my.
like,
I should have warned him because I was bracing, and I typically know to. Um,
I,
sorry.
what up? Yo, shout out the Chi-Town fam. Hey, Nikki and Ash and Pops. Thanks for joining. We appreciate you guys. I do understand physics. Like, an object that's in motion will stay in motion. And when the plane starts to slow down, like, my body was still trying to go forward. And, um, it just, like, the flight, I don't know if I want to get into flight stuff. I will tell this quick story, but I want to talk about the expo and the positives, and we can leave kind of the negative experiences for the end of the show, because I don't want to get too negative to start, because it wasn't wholly negative. It's definitely a net positive trip. The travel was hard, and I do want to talk about that, but yeah, I landed into Vegas, first flight, 37 minutes, super quick, like, just up and down, first little experience in an airplane. It was really cool to like take off, like, a marvel of engineering and stuff, like those 747 buses, like 737. And like it was cool, super amazing to experience that. But yeah, landing, the plane went down, and you have that little waist seatbelt on, but it's just like around your lap. And I was sitting on a seat, like the second row back, and it didn't have a solid side armrest. The one in front does, meaning you're just like sit in between like two solid pieces, but this seat was open on next to the aisle. So the whole time I was kind of scooting, just like trying to adjust and sit comfortably on the plane. And yeah, as soon as we landed, my booty slid forward, and that chest like seatbelt went like up my chest to my shoulders, and I was just like, like my butt went out, like I kind of slid back onto the seat, and I was like, "Yo, I need some help!" And like credit to the flight attendant, who I think his name was Paul. That sorry for getting that wrong. I'm sure you'll never listen to this. But he jumped out real quick, even though the plane was still landing and he had his seatbelt on. And our buddy Cage, Brianna's little bro, who came with us on this trip, and I cannot move forward without saying this. Cage, Brianna, like Cage is a really awesome, amazing guy. Like if it were not for him on this trip, it would not have gone the way it did. It would not have been as smooth. I don't even know if it would have been realistically possible. Like having an A be around for me and Shawn to help out with the luggage, to jump up and pull me up off, the floor of the plane and stuff, and just to do what he did all weekend long, move my hotel bed so I could transfer easier and stuff. Like
getting us in and out of the pool because of the
Yeah.
knob.
Yeah, Cage is the
right,
man,
opening the
honestly.
flipping door.
And even
like,
he
and-
even had to readjust Tom like during flight, like get behind him, lift him up, readjust like several times each flight. So like to have somebody to do that, yeah, without that it would have been like
And
yeah,
this
shout
guy
out
was
Cage,
just
man.
smiling and positive and joking and just solid every minute, every day, the whole trip. And just really, really amazing, awesome person. So huge shout out to Cage, huge shout out to Brianna, who is related to this guy and is definitely probably slightly responsible for how awesome he is, because she does help take care of him. But big shout out to that whole fam and Cage for coming along. We appreciate you, man. What up,
And to my
Quad
fam
Life?
as well. I gotta shout out my mom and grandma as well for all the help you guys did at the expo. No, we're not forgetting about you. We love you guys too.
Yeah, dude, we love Cash Money. We love the whole Live to Roll fam. For real, all you guys are amazing. But it was just really cool. And honestly, that was one of my favorite parts about this whole trip. It's my first time flying, a lot of firsts this trip. My first time traveling on my own without my mom and my sister, like my family, to help do my care and help me out in my room and stuff. But it was just kind of the boys' trip. Now Bentley was one of the boys this weekend. She was definitely hanging with us. But it was cool, like just from Wednesday to yesterday, it was me, Shawn, and Cage the whole time, just cruising, traveling, doing this whole thing, joking around, and like just the boys. And it was definitely different than being with my fam, and it was cool to do that. Like it was an awesome experience to just kick it with the guys and just joke around, and to have this kind of trip. Like I haven't really ever done anything like this, like the friend trip. And I know we were working a lot and stuff, but there was definitely a lot of downtime and hanging, which I love. Like I swear, like I don't know if I've laughed so much in such a short amount of time in a while, because like we were just busting our guts the whole time we were together. And yeah, dude, Donna and Velma, I love this family. Like I love my family, but it's like feels so cool and so special to be a part of your guys' family now too. And yeah, having Mama and Grandma out there at the booth all weekend, was really amazing too. So I love you guys and thank you for taking the trip. And it was awesome. We got to fly back together too. Like it was just
Which
like
yeah,
super
I didn't even
convenient.
realize.
Yeah, like Donna and Belma got to fly back with us on the flight to Phoenix home, so it was pretty cool. Like it made me feel happy that we all got to like kind of cruise home together.
But
But how'd you feel, Shawn? Bentley? I don't know. Let's go to Bentley. We haven't heard from Bentley yet. How was your experience? I know it was your first Abilities Expo. How'd you like it?
Oh, I loved it. That's why it made me sad. We really don't have like the wheel community and like everybody, like big groups of us together up here where I'm from. And so to be able to have that and the instant camaraderie with everybody. And it was also really overwhelming, but in a good way, to talk to all the freshly injured people or their families, and just seeing all of those feelings I have already personally experienced. You your heart pours out to these people, and it was a really special experience being able to connect with people on that level. And I had such a great time. I got to meet people I've been friends with online for years and years and years, and like we just, like, even y'all, like we got to meet up for the first time. And as toxic as an inconvenience the internet and social media can be, like, these are those examples of the power of the connection of this world. It was so neat getting to experience firsthand and listening to everybody's stories. Everybody has a story, and if you sit there and take a second to listen, we've all been through something crazy, and it was neat getting to find that in other people.
Yo, an example of one of these awesome guys right here in the chat. Anthony, what up, dude? We met Anthony right at the end of the last day,
Hey.
and we're super lucky to. He's an awesome pair out there in Texas who's checking out the expo and came and bought a shirt, this exact shirt actually, and like went and put it on right away and started repping it, and we got to kick it out there and say Haas together, and super super cool. To meet Anthony and so many others. Like, honestly, the representation out there in Houston, it was incredible. Like, we had like the second and third day, like so many people like wearing our shirts and stuff and hanging out like at the booth all weekend long. Like, met some really amazing new friends. I know we'll get to stay friends and we'll get to have on the show. But amazing positive examples of like badass people in chairs, living life too. And really excited to follow up, with some of these individuals and talk about, yeah, like how they tackle all this stuff out here, there in Houston, out there in Texas. And spoiler alert, it's not much different from how it is out here in Cali. It's just a little hotter and stickier out there, but
Although
otherwise,
Houston, it was definitely humid in here. It was
but
sticky.
we did meet some cool people that are working on forming, local support groups out there in Houston and doing really amazing adaptive recreation, like we do out here with the Triumph Foundation and all kinds of really awesome stuff. It was pretty cool. And I was honestly like at the end, like feeling bummed, as you usually do, that, you didn't have more time to get to see and experience a little bit more of that stuff. Get a little overwhelmed at the expo and it can all go by pretty quick. But traveling alone made it difficult in another sense too. Like the like what you do during the day, it does take a lot of energy. It takes a lot out of you to talk, and move and shake like all day. And then being on your own and still having to do like the rest of the care and like set up the room and do all the stuff. Like, I mean, it is a lot. It was like more than I realized going in, and I just felt like my gas tank get real empty real fast, and I was just like trying to dig deep and push through. But it was, yeah, I think a learning experience for sure. That's the one part that I did want to talk about though. Shout out our caregivers, Juven and Daniela. They were super awesome. Uh, Juven came through Thursday morning, helped us out. We didn't have a caregiver Friday morning, and I had the daunting task of tackling my care in a hotel room on my own. But I did it, and it was like cool. It took a while. I was like just 20 minutes late to the show that day, but it was all good. I made it. That was the important thing.
Yeah, bro.
And Friday and Saturday, and no, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we had Daniela come out in the morning. I'd never done my care on the road like this before. I've done it with my mom, but it was different. I was super nervous, and went awesome. The caregivers we had were super great, incredibly kind. incredibly skilled. Uh, yeah, it was awesome. Made me feel super comfortable. Came back Monday morning, just like helped me get changed and get my bag packed or whatever. Before I left because I was just feeling really, really low energy and really nervous about getting ready for the plane. But it was awesome. That honestly, I talked to Shawn about this before in his wild travels and hiring caregivers on the road. But hey, it was super positive experience. So that was
And, that,
cool.
and that's what. So for people that don't know, for years, what I've done on the road is just go. Well, now I'm using Care.com, which is I think a lot safer and easier. But I used to use Craigslist for years and years, and I would just post an ad in the classifieds saying I was like in the job things saying I was gonna need, I was gonna be in town. These are the dates. These are the days I needed to help, and I would go email, talk, have a phone conversation, and hire somebody. Now I'm using Care.com, the Care app, which is a little, they're background checked and maybe a little safer and probably more skilled to start. So it works out well, and they helped us. That's where we found help for Tom and I this weekend.
That's awesome. Back in the day, I mean, I've always done it was I used to just call agencies and like, do you have nursing? You have nursing? Before they had Care and before uh, Craigslist, and I don't know. I think that's even crazy what you do too with when you hear about stories on Craigslist. We just felt more reassured.
Shawn Flukes, victim of the
Like,
Craigslist
what are
killing.
you asking here? So it always made me feel better if I just call these nursing agencies and I'm like, I just need a day. I don't need to be hired for a month or anything like that. So I always got lucky too that way. Never had only one bad experience where somebody just said, I'm not helping you out in that way. And I'm like, you have to. I hired you. Your company said yes. Do you want to get fired? And she's like, okay, whatever. And she did it with a bad face, but I was like, hey, I still got to go where I needed to go that day and got everything done and packed, and so it did work out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very vulnerable situation to be in when you're in a hotel, especially handling like bowel care. It's like, you're naked, it's an intimate situation. Like with a stranger, it's just difficult. When it's someone coming to a hotel room, it's like not even the security of like your own home, you know?
Yeah, I'll be
But
honest, it's kind of weird because the first time I meet these people typically is right before my care. So like, yeah, I've talked to them and stuff, but I meet them and I cover myself, but I'm essentially naked. Like,
Yeah, they're opening up your hotel room, and you're like, hi.
like
It's
extremely vulnerable.
what
And,
up?
welcome
Let's
to
do
the
this
job.
thing.
but yeah, so but
That,
anyways, that's just the way,
that's why
you gotta
it's
trust
something we
people
talked about,
sometimes.
though. I didn't mean to cut you off right there, Shawn. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying sometimes you just have to put your trust in people and like hope for the best. Like, I mean, honestly, this weekend I feel like the universe lined up things for us just worked out. Like, sort of just fell in place. Like, every little speed bump, everything we started like that was going to be an obstacle for us, we kind of just figured a way out and just got through. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing that, like, I've traveled before a lot. Like, I don't know, sometimes, like, anxiety can get the better of, like, even myself, family member or something, like the stress of the situation. But anytime something came up, like, we really did push through. I broke at the end. I broke at the very, very end. But I was, like, coming off of, like, 5 hours of, like, really scary dysreflexia and like some pretty inhumane treatment. And I was scared. I was scared for my life. Like I was scared for my safety. Like I was freaked out. Like my adrenaline was going hot. Like I was like, I don't know. Like, and it was just I was home, and like I had like kind of the security of like I'm home. I can like kind of let go and lose my shit a little bit because I didn't want to on the plane. Like I didn't want to, like I just want to be respectful to everybody. Like make the trip go okay. But it was, yeah, right at the end there. But to the positive point, the struggles that we met along the way, like we landed in Houston, 10 o'clock on Wednesday night. And we show up, like our taxi's calling us. We're like getting off the plane, like they take forever to get the chairs off the plane. So we're just sitting there for a half an hour waiting for them to get my chair, get me transferred. Everything's working. We're rolling. The guy's calling us. He's like, "No, you're okay. Like, I'll wait for you." We get out there, and it's a rear entry van for like one wheelchair. And we called this company. We're like, "Yo, we got 2 chairs, we got 1 walker, and we got 6 bags." And the guy looked at us. He goes, "I'll take one of you." And we're like,
Yeah.
"Well, we both got to go." So Shawn starts talking to him, right? Because you could have transferred, dude, right?
I could have gotten
It's
into the side
super
passenger
easy.
seat. Exactly what we did getting to the airport because it was the exact same van and we
was
both
the
loaded
exact
in
same rear
and we
entry
had one
van.
extra bag. So yeah, we could have done
And
exactly with that, but he was not having it. He told me I could not transfer into that vehicle. He told me that both wheelchairs in it was going to destroy his shocks and damage his vehicle. That's literally what he told me about the cab. I was like, dude, my chair weighs 75 pounds. I was like, I weigh 100 pounds. It's an extra 175 pounds max. I was like, I don't think that's going to be the fine line that destroys the complete suspension of your car. But yeah, he was not having it.
here's where he did come through, which I don't know. Like, we paid the guy that night because he took me and some of the bags, and then I was chilling at the hotel. Like, Bentley came, we were just kicking it outside and waiting for these guys. He drove back to the airport, 25 minutes, picked up Shawn and Cage, and then drove back. It was $40 each way, so we ended up like paying the guy, 80 bucks. Like, I didn't tip him
Yeah.
because like I felt a little shortchanged. And also, like, an accessible Uber, which is what we caught on the way to the airport, was $17 for
Yes.
all of us. Okay, like, we paid
Screw
like less
cabs,
than
The
a
man.
taxi
quarter.
is so ridiculously
We paid less than
much
a
more
quarter.
expensive. I found out that the hard way going back too
Well,
because I
that's the thing
Ubered
is-
instead of the taxi.
See, for us though, because I knew we needed the wheelchair accessible vehicle, so I wasn't sure. And every time I've looked up on Uber, like, it's never come up. I've tried to come up, and this time the taxi wasn't coming. I called the cab company, and this time I actually scheduled 2 cabs. I was like, screw it, dude. I'll just pay for both cabs to come at the same time. Just send us 2 cabs. And they never came. They came almost 2 hours late. I got the text message saying that they were on their way, but we would have completely missed our flight. So luckily, I got on the Uber app, and there was a wheelchair accessible vehicle. I clicked on it, and it said 8 minutes away, and it showed up. Same vehicle that picked us up at the airport, but she was cool and was like, "Yeah, go ahead, get into that passenger seat or get into the side seat."
Yo,
We
shout
did.
out Erica, you were awesome.
Yeah,
Super
seriously.
kind. Hope we gave you a good tip. Hope you, you know, got some good karma coming your way, dude, because she was cool.
Yeah.
And Kelsey Bear, I did end up getting some damage to my chair, unfortunately. The damage that I received going out there was superficial. It was just like some plastic pieces that broke off my chair, like the sides of the armrest, which were already cracked and stuff. And then there's this like little like front bumper thing on the corner of the chair frame, and it like cracked off, and there was like these sharp edges like poking out. But on the way back, um, yeah, there was when I got off the plane the last time, it didn't start right away. Like, we had to reset the manual modes or whatever. But the first time we did that, I turned it on. It said there was a brake error, and it wouldn't move. Like, nothing would engage. We reset it again, and it moved, but it felt like there was a delay because I like moved my joystick, but it didn't go right away. And then all of a sudden, it's like it woke up and it started moving. But I heard my right front motor or left front motor squeaking. No, right. Sorry, I'm getting my left and right mixed up. I'm tired. My right front motor is squeaking, and I like ever since like I got home, it's like sticking. So like when I start to drive, like my like right side, my left side will start to go, and the right side will like stick like a couple times. Like there's an issue with the brake or the motor or something. So there's definitely something going on inside, and that wasn't happening yesterday in the morning before my flight. But we got video, dude, of like my chair coming out of the cargo like on its side. Like they just flip it on its side onto a conveyor belt. Like it's not even stored upright or meaningfully kept upright throughout the trip and stuff. Like yo, damage is bound to happen. I was worried about my elevator breaking because like it's been making noises and acting funny. Um, like even before the trip, I was like, gosh, like just stay good, like the elevator, stay good, because I wanted to be able to transfer it in on the hotel bed and stuff. Okay, and it did. But we did file a report with Southwest. The global repair, whatever, has already gotten in touch with New Motion, and New Motion has already gotten in touch with me. Now, here's the only thing: New Motion currently doesn't have a technician in the Chatsworth area. Period. They no longer have a technician. So the lady was like, I don't know when we're going to be able to get you someone out. I'm like, well, it's going to have to be timely, ma'am. And she's like, okay, I'll work on it. So, I don't know. My chair's workable. I didn't really plan on going anywhere or leaving my apartment for the next 4 or 5 days, anyways. So, um, it's all good. At least like the chair damage. But the rest of the flight, I don't know, you guys. How do you feel about the airline situation, Bentley and Shawn? We'll start with Bentley. Hey, how do you feel with it? How do you feel about your flight experience as a paraplegic?
I mean, I've been pretty candid about how I feel about TSA. Uh, that
yeah,
whole process is, you know, since my incident in November where I was completely violated, it makes the process that more anxious. You don't know how people are going to act, and you really feel helpless. Because, and then it makes you angry because if the metal circular walkway, whatever, if the entry was just like 6 inches wider, like if the design was just open more, just a little bit, we all could just go through it and
Right?
not have to be pat down and touched and violated and moved around and all of that fun stuff. I realized, I have a much more, I don't know, everything is quite a bit easier as a paraplegic, and I
Yeah.
can transfer myself into the chair, and I make sure that I get to go at the front. Southwest is like the airline that I always stick with, because the actual airline is so good to me always. Like the flight attendants are always top notch. Everybody's very accommodating. If anyone's in the front row, they'll make them get up and move. I mean, I personally have had good experiences flying. However, I have only flown with Southwest since I've been paralyzed, and I hear horror stories about Spirit and United and how terrible it is.
I will
And
never fly Spirit. Like,
yeah.
I
just
will
get it
Spirit.
off my
never,
I've heard
head.
really
never
really
fly
bad
Spirit
stories.
ever, ever, ever.
And
I'm
you know
like,
what?
mm-mm.
Yeah, and I was talking to Cage yesterday. He said those Spirit seats are even narrower than the regular, even the Southwest. So Tom, you would have been like, yeah, dude.
I would have been fine.
But
I
anyways,
got some wide hips. What can I say? Like,
well,
I
and
got
that's the thing is
a little
all the
ambition.
airline seats are so narrow. They make them tiny. They want to squeeze as many people
Well,
as
I
they
mean,
can
there
in
was
there.
200 people in this tube. That
Oh,
Well, and then
listen,
and
some
we're
real
of
like
quick,
them have
smaller
like the
than I thought it would.
stationary armrest. Like most of them, you can at least move up, like lift them up, so that can be helpful to scoot and anything like
Yeah.
that. But the ones that are like, I had to like leapfrog over these chairs to get
Yeah,
on
when
the
you're
inside.
yeah,
Like, and
when you're in
if I
bulkhead,
wasn't
bulkhead doesn't do
strong
that.
enough to be able to lift and hoist myself over, I would like, and I don't like to be on the aisle. I don't know about y'all, but if you have a choice, like I'm gonna be by the
Dude,
window,
I
and
didn't have a
so
choice, and I wanted the window seat, and I was sitting in the aisle, and my legs splay because like I have no control over my lower extremities, and everybody that walked by touched my knee.
you kept
Everybody.
bumping your
Like,
knee.
and I was sitting there holding my leg, like, dude, and it takes so long to board, and my arm was dying, and I'd rest for a second. Someone walk by and like rub up against my flesh, and I'd be like, stop it! Like, I need some sanitizer, stat. Like, I need to wear pants next time, and I did. Like, I wore sweats like going home because like I didn't want
You knew
like
better.
everybody to be rubbing up against my body. But I was just like, shit, like, dude. So I'm gonna, Andrew. You said it. First of all, happy belated birthday, man. Hope you had a good day yesterday, dude. And sorry we couldn't wish you a happy birthday yesterday. But I definitely want to try a cruise ship. Tried the train. Tried the train. We're going on jam cruises. Let's go. Gonna be hitting up Jamaica. Yo, feeling those reggae vibes. It's already happening. I'm gonna book it tonight. Uh, but maybe I don't know how United is. I've been doing a little bit of research today. There's an amazing New York Times article that just came out today. It's very timely. It was a quadriplegic individual, and I don't know if it's quadriplegic or he just has a disability that affects all four limbs, but he had a F5 just like me, same kind of permobile. And the New York Times did an expose where they took pictures and documented the whole process of this individual, and they highlighted everything that I experienced, which was the dehumanization of yourself, like the way that they treat you. It feel I don't know, like I got some skin in the game. I've been in a chair for 25 years, and I've experienced it all. I've seen it all. I've felt it all. Like I've seen people look at me weird and look at me scared, look at me strange. Like I've had people say things to me. I've had people come up and put their hands on me inappropriately and try to pray for me. Like I've experienced anything and everything you can imagine as a quad, I feel like. And I know there's still people out there with crazier stories, but I've been able to roll with it all. And usually I can. Like, hey, as long as your intentions are good and you respect me when, I set my boundaries, like that's fine. But when you're traveling, you're in a unique situation. It's kind of like you feel like you gotta play by their rules, and you do. Otherwise, like you won't be able to fly. Um, but come to find out, there are no accessible accommodations on an airplane. Period. Like the airplane itself,
You definitely
there's
aren't
not
using the bathroom. That's for
no.
sure.
But outside of that, there's no accessible seating. So like there's not a seat with an extra inch of width on either side for that would like allow my seat cushion to sit flush. So my seat cushion like had to get squeezed, and I was sitting on wrinkles for like the entirety of every flight. And it wasn't even like a flat, normal seat cushion. It was like all bent up, and which again is hard for me. Like after 2 hours, 3 hours on an airplane, um,
No, you
which
could see Tom after every single flight. Tom was flushed red with AD. Like you could see his whole face was like full on dysreflexic. Like
and
you could,
I
yeah,
like the second flight, getting to Houston was fine. That was my best flight experience. Like I don't
yeah, it was.
know, like I did after 15 or 20 minutes, I'd start to feel like the nerve sensation, like shit, like something's wrong, and I would like lean forward all the way and like kind of just lift my butt as much as I could, and then it would go away. I'd sit back by myself a half an hour, and I'd be good to go. Just did that all the way until the end of the flight, and I was good. And now at the end, I get these spasms. Sean will tell you, it's like these like they like jerk me. My body will just like jerk and spaz like every 30 seconds or every 15 seconds. Now, my body was just worked from the hotel room, from non-normal sleeping, non-normal living situations, like the first flight, the hardness of that. And my body was screaming yesterday. And when my body screams, like I spasm and I get AD. I don't have any pressure wounds. I don't have any serious skin issues, thankfully. I thought I maybe did because, and I mean, I still don't know what's wrong because I'm still spasming today. I'm still getting mild AD, like every couple hours. Like it still feels like something's off. Um, but it's getting better and it's going away. Like I think I just wrecked my body. But the treatment, I don't know. These people are nice, but the way that they move you onto the plane, like I just don't get it, like logically. And maybe like you guys could, back me up here. They transfer you onto this aisle chair. And on this aisle chair, they strap your knees, they strap your feet, they put two straps on your chest to hold you in because it is a skinny chair, and like they're worried about you falling off. But when you get into the airplane, and they put you on the seat, there's like one little loose waist belt. And like, what is the expectation? Like, you need all this stuff for the aisle chair, but you don't need any of it when you don't need any trunk support or any upper body support while you're on the airplane. Like, okay, like these flight attendants are sitting here 3 feet away from me with like a full 4-point harness.
Yeah.
And I asked if I could keep my tray table down to have something to hold on to, because it did offer me some extra support and security, but it's a violation of FAA to have your tray tables down during takeoff and landing. So the only thing that I did have to offer me some support and stability, other than like the person next to me, was that, and it was taken away from me at the moment I actually needed it, which was when the plane was landing. And flying into Phoenix, my butt didn't slide out, but my torso went forward. So I was secure in like cage. Like I my they flight attendant, credit to the flight, and again I feel like I maybe got her in trouble. She did let me keep my tray table down. I asked her and she was like, "We're really not supposed to do this. It's actually like breaking the law." She was like, but she's like, "We're gonna be okay. Like we're not gonna crash. Like you can keep it down." I'm like, "All right, thank you, ma'am." So I did, but I just bent at the waist and I was like forward. I was like hanging by my belt at the hip, and I was like, "Gage, grab me!" And he did real quick, and he pulled me up. And then the lady behind me, like, she was such a sweetheart. She like wrapped her arm around me and like held on to me the rest of the time. And she had a disability herself, like she was this older woman, but she was just trying to help out and be courteous. But when we landed in Phoenix, I was having major AD, and it took a really long time to get my chair off the plane, and I had a headache. Like one half of my face was solid red, like my ear was so hot, like I was just full AD, and I was getting scared. Like I felt scared. Like it's a really scary feeling. Anybody, experienced it, like knows it. And I needed to go to the bathroom, but we were late for our next flight. Like they were boarding, and we raced across the airport. I checked in real quick. I went to the bathroom, and there was some asshole in the handicapped stall. And normally I wouldn't just call him that, but he proved it. Because I was freaking out. I had AD. I needed to like adjust my pants and stuff. I needed a private moment. And I knocked on the door, and I was like, "Yo, man, I need the stall. There's a bunch of open stalls right here." And he just kept peeing, and fine, whatever. He comes out, and I'm just heated, and I'm like scared, and I'm like, "Bro, there's 6 other stalls. See those? They're all open. Those are for you guys. The one handicap stall for people in wheelchairs, that's usually for us. If you could like be courteous and be respectful and save that for people that might need it, I appreciate it." And he looks at me and he goes, "Fuck you, man."
Yeah, I can't believe that shit, dude.
And I just lost it. And we already get demonetized, but I'm not gonna say what I said to this gentleman. And I honestly regret it, because it's just like bad karma and bad vibes out to the universe. But dude, it just hurt. Like it just felt fucked up. And fuck that guy. I got into the bathroom. I took a couple minutes just adjust myself and get myself righted. And I was feeling a little bit better for a minute. And they put me on this next flight, and it's only supposed to be an hour. And the minute I get transferred to the aisle seat, the AD comes back like right away, because whatever my coccyx or whatever was hurting me just got triggered again. And the whole flight, it was just hard, just getting really bad AD, and I was spazzing constantly. Like they just never stopped. And when you spasm for hours, like your body gets tired. Like my body was getting tired, and I was getting hot. Like I was getting really hot. I was getting super overheated. My blood pressure was just to the max. And I don't know, right at the end, dude, like I swear, like I must have got like an adrenaline dump because like my hands were shaking, like my whole body was shaking. Like I felt like I did feel like I was on drugs or something. Like I felt, I don't know, almost like kind of euphoric in the moment. Like it was felt really weird. But I was stuck. I was stuck on this plane. I was just trying to get off this plane. And I don't know. I felt like very dehumanized in that moment. The way they transfer me every time, I don't know, like it messed up my clothes. I was super scared about traveling. So like I wore an adult brief, like because I was afraid, like, hey, at least if I shit myself on the plane, oh, like it won't get everywhere, and I'll have an opportunity to like maybe take care of it, you know. But like like when I fell off the plane the first time, like my pants slipped off my ass, and like
Yeah.
everybody's just staring at you in this like super embarrassing like moment and stuff. And it's like these are all strangers I'm never gonna see again. Like, and honestly, like I've been in embarrassing moments like that before, and like whatever, like might pop in my head one night laying awake at 3 a.m. But other than that, could care less. Um, but the whole process, I just don't understand it. I don't understand how they can't have just like a chest seatbelt. Like they have that
Well,
in every vehicle, everywhere. Like just this
When
thing
they
that goes
offer
across the shoulder.
extenders for people that are obese, they should offer an extender if you're disabled.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like they can make the belt bigger, but they can't like provide any security for my trunk control. It's
That
like
should
must
be an
be known
option.
that like it's kind of rough to land. Like it's even mentioned in this New York Times article. Like it literally touched on everything. How can there not be dedicated individuals that are trained? It seemed like everybody that trains for me was kind of scared, unfamiliar, like didn't know how to grab me properly to ensure that my clothes didn't get messed up. They didn't, was like at every step of the way, just like it felt really shaky and felt really strange. Um, and I don't know, like again, you're not home. You're away from home. This is your only way to get home. It's the only option. It's the only means. Like I took the train, but I mean that was an option from Texas, and it wasn't an option on my own either. This was like I thought maybe an option to be more independent traveling, and it's not. If it weren't for Cage, who was not originally going to go with us, I don't know what would happen. I don't know how hurt I would have been, or what kind of experience I would have had, not having like an able-bodied there kind of dedicated to like help move me every time. Because it just would have been, yeah, so hard, so much more hard. um and at the end, yeah, I was heated, I was scared, I was like, I felt like I was fighting for my life at this point, trying to like get my chair off the plane, trying to get myself off the plane. And yeah, they jacked me up, and they jacked my chair up. I'd experienced like bodily harm as a result of them. I'd experienced bodily harm as a result of the damage to my chair, and being on this trip and not having any options. Like one night, my leg slipped off the bed and spasmed against these like sharp pieces that were exposed as a result of like the first train trip, and it just cut the back of my leg like all up and down my calf and stuff. And it's like these are just things that I'm gonna have to deal with, and like the chair and everything, all this time. Like it's already been hours and hours and hours of my time, and we paid the same price as everybody else. We had to be on the plane, some flights twice as long as everybody else because of the short nature of the flights, but still, we had to sit there and wait for them to get the lift gate to get my chair off the plane because the airline can't afford to have more than one and have one at each gate. They have to like take the time to bring it from all the ways across the flipping airport to this plane. Like, how can they not just have a power wheelchair lift at every gate? How is that not standard? Like,
well, I
I know,
mean,
I know they
I'm
got the
pretty
money.
sure. Yeah, no, they have the money easily, but they just don't care because you're probably like 1% of their air travel, or less than that even, because how much how many people go through there. So they'd rather pay a little whatever like to fix your chair. Like that's why I mean, still that's what the standards are. That's just kind of how they operate. It just sucks, but that's the world
Yeah.
we live in at the time.
Well, it is the standard. Doesn't have to be, and they actually are breaking the law, like in the face of everybody, and nobody's talking about it. And like, there, it's kind of beyond just the air travel because once you get to your destination, there's not even meaningful, like transportation to your hotel or anything like that. But there is for everybody else. It's an option for everybody else, except if you're a power wheelchair user. Bottom line. And they do not provide any other kind of accommodations. They charge you the same amount. They, treat you, it's the same as everybody else, even though your situation is different. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not asking for a lot here, but you don't have to freaking embarrass me and treat me like a human being. You could have some trained professionals that have a better ability and understanding of how to move wheelchairs and move things safely and move human beings safely and stuff. Like, you could just take 10% of your profits and fly with 175 people instead of 200 and provide a little bit of extra space, not just for the accessible seats but for everybody on the airplane. It's just greed and shady shit. The only reason there's not significant change, or the only reason there's not significant accessibility on airlines, is because the airlines have not been pressured by federal or local agency to update their infrastructure because it costs money. They haven't been held accountable. They have the money to. They haven't been forced to, and they haven't. But it is a form of public transportation. It's the only way to get conveniently, reasonably across the nation in a regular amount of time, reasonable amount of time, and they should be held accountable. It's discrimination. It's a violation of our civil rights. Like, dude, I've been reading about this shit for the last couple of weeks. Like, that's what it is.
What?
Like, the way we get treated. We don't have access to a bathroom. We don't have access to a seat that's comfortable. We don't have access to any kind of meaningful services that everybody else has access to. That is a violation of my civil rights. Bottom line. And
All right, yeah, dude.
they have to be,
Yeah, man.
they have to
That's
be held
what
accountable. And
people
I
should
mean,
check out that New York Times article right now too, if you want to check out more, because that just came out, literally being shared all over social media right now. I saw it like 30 times this morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out. Check all that stuff out. But let's talk more about the expo a little bit for the last 10-15 minutes here,
Yeah, dude.
because it's we'll do more of an expo show than just the
It's
trash
just
airlines.
like we're being a dead horse because my story is the
No,
same
exactly.
story
There's just
as I've heard on social media 100 times in the last year. So
yeah, no, exactly.
it
That's
really
what sucks,
is. It
man.
really is. But on that positive note, just to wrap that a little bit up, we are gonna keep having we're gonna have the conversation more, and I'm gonna hold these people accountable, and we're gonna talk more about it. Bring the literal army to mass, and start talking to these people because we need to make our rights known, and we will, and bring some change about. Just take a little bit of time. But the expo.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So that expo, yeah, we met some really cool people. A lot of people we've known from social media and stuff. I'm pretty sure Dee Dee in the chat was one of our newer Houston people we met also. One of
Yeah, it
Celtic
was really
Bird's friends.
amazing meeting
And
DD.
then shout out to Juan, who I don't know if you're watching right now, but that's the dude that shaved our logo into his son's head on the last day of the expo. We met them on Saturday, and they were super cool people, just an amazing family. And yeah, they came back the next day in full support of Live to Roll.
Yeah, dude, the
dad
guy was a
rocking the
barber,
hat,
and I was
son
like,
rocking the-
man, I wish you had your stuff. I was like, I need a fresh cut. But they were so cool. Like he cut his son's hair, and he did like our Live to Roll logo in the back of his head, and came out.
Yeah, the
rocking
same
it,
one
dude.
that's on y'all's hat.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
Like it honestly, it looked fresh, dude. It looked dope. It was actually really sick, and those guys are so awesome. So that was super cool. And
Yeah,
yeah, it was
just one of the
amazing,
amazing
dude.
families.
It was amazing. I met this. Shout out Barbara if you're watching too. She brought all of her friends over. They all bought T-shirts, and they're a bunch of badass ladies out in Houston that just started a local support group, a women's support group called the Elephant in the Room. And it's just a support group that they started because there wasn't one that existed locally for them. So now it's just like a bunch of cool ladies that meet up regularly and they go to events and they meet at parks and they just meet up and they meet online and they talk. And I got all their information. We want to bring them on and talk to us about how they got their group started and how I know like we have this conversation a lot about some of our viewers that don't have groups in their areas and stuff. And it was just a really cool story and example of how you could start one. And now how they're going strong with like a bunch of cool ladies like that all are supporting each other now, and we're hanging out all weekend. So that was super cool. We're really excited to network with these guys. And, yo, also just shout out to Lives Roll fam, dude. We had some people come up to us this weekend, just like, "Hey, we watch you online." And like I know we have viewers, but it's still a trip to know that like there's some locals out there in Houston that watch our stuff and came out and saw us. So we got to see Chad, who has been on the show before,
Yeah,
doing
from
like
our
our
hunting and
hunting.
fishing stuff. Yeah, we met
He
him.
rolled by the booth and surprised us. Like that was incredible. Um,
Uh,
Didi, yeah,
yeah,
I think they're new. It's like a brand new thing that they just got started recently, so maybe look into it. And it was a pleasure meeting you, Didi. It was super cool getting to run into some of the family out there. And
yeah, no, that
yeah,
was awesome,
maybe.
man. It was a cool weekend. What Bentley? What was besides all the people? What was the coolest thing at the expo you saw?
Watching all the adaptive sports. They go hard at rugby. I was really intrigued. I'm really aggressive when I play basketball, and I didn't try anything. As you said, we were rolling everywhere, and I was gonna be exhausted. I already knew, and so I didn't participate. But I definitely will next time. And just seeing everybody involved, like the adaptive rock wall and the lacrosse, the seated volleyball, the workout classes, all of the different activities that people had. I mean, that was great.
Yeah, that was fun. And shout out to Mark and Mike who run that adaptive wall. Those guys are super cool. We hung out with them a bunch this weekend. Mark actually rocked our hat all weekend too at the wall. So yeah, you guys are awesome too. And I still haven't tried the wall. I want to try that one of the days.
Yeah. Also, the guy that
Phoenix,
brought
the
out your
Phoenix.
hyperbaric chamber, Bobby,
Yeah, yeah,
Nick
Julian's
Delara,
son Nick.
he was
Shout
out
out
there.
Nick.
We
Oh,
got to hang
really?
out
Oh,
with
cool.
him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
hung
got
out
to
with
hang out
him.
with
That
him
was
Saturday
cool.
night, and I'm like, yeah, dude. I was like, I know a guy with one of your hyperbaric chambers. I'm like, he's out in Long Beach. He's like, yeah, I think I delivered it to him just like not too long ago. And I'm like, Bobby Rohan? He's like, yeah, Bobby Rohan. I'm like, hey, like, yeah, that's super cool. So
Yeah, we had
it was super
matching
funny.
hair, so we were like
Yeah.
immediately
Oh, yeah. Nick
vibing.
does. Yeah, it's right. No,
And shout out to Justin too from Wonders on Wheels. Justin was
Yo,
hanging out all weekend too.
and
Yeah, he came
I
out
Mickey.
and hung out
loved his
Saturday.
energy.
That was
Everyone
fun.
we kicked it with,
Such
like,
high
had just
energy.
the best
Yeah.
spot. Like, yes.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yo, Alex and Mickey, thank you for saying hi. We appreciate you guys joining in. And yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know,
thanks for
like
joining in
that.
from St. Jude.
It's always super special. Like I don't know to just meet the people. What Bentley said earlier, the human exchange that you experience. I don't know. It is a lot. Like I don't know, got a lot of empathy for other people, and I don't know, like when you're at an event like that, and you meet a lot of newly injured people, or newer injured people at least, talking to you about their experiences, what they've gone through, and it can be very very relatable to you. And I don't know, it's like that human connection. It's so beautiful, very powerful. It's a really really special thing to experience so much throughout the weekend, and to get to meet so many of you guys. And I don't know, it's one thing to do this. I love the YouTube platform because we can spread our message and talk to, people anywhere, anytime. There's no barrier to the internet, but it's just something really special about going and meeting people in person, and I get to experience it all in person too.
Trust me, Tom, that's the hardest thing. And the last two, the Chicago and Houston, meeting those is meeting everybody else and hearing the personal stories. And you find out, one, you're not alone on certain things, like the three of us could be chatting and you guys, the three of you can be like, I've never experienced that. But eventually you're going to find, and especially at the expo, you always find somebody that, wow, I can relate to him. And then you really find out also, like, you think sometimes we have it hard and, you piss off, air travel or the thing that I've been going through with the sore. And you find out that, there's others with twice as worse. And you're just like the nightmare. And some days I'm like, God, in the last 4 months, this is crazy. How can anybody, deal with this and the stuff I'm missing and the time amount I'm just really taking care of this. And then I find out somebody's been doing it for a year, 2 years. And I'm like, and I've only been doing it for 4 months. Oh my gosh. Okay. And learning. And then it also becomes, the more you've done these, and I've been doing and being an exhibitor for, umpteen years, 25 years or 20 years probably. And, it's like a class reunion and getting to see some of the people over and over again each year. It's just so awesome. And I hated that. I miss seeing some old friends that I've met, over the years being at that Houston Expo. It's just, that's the beauty of going to these expos and being around other people and the energy and the love and the support that you feel.
Yeah, it was something, and I mean, it really did feed my soul. Like it, so I had, just shout out this whole trip in general. Like Shawn, Shawn Fluke, you beautiful son of a bitch. You're just so awesome, man. Like I am so grateful for you bringing me into the Live to Roll fam, dude, and making like these opportunities possible. Like I know we were like talking a little shade about the airline travel and stuff, but like this trip was like honestly and truly life changing for me, man. Like I came back a different person than I was, when I left, in a positive way. Having like tackled this experience that like it's honestly something I've been wanting to do for 15 years since I had the idea of like solo traveling and doing this stuff, dude. And if it wasn't for you, man, pushing me, booking the shit, like just going for it, man. Like I don't know if I would have done it. So thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
For sure, man. I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad that somehow, like, because if people that don't know, like me and Tom were going to be doing that on our own, and literally like 2 days before we were leaving, Brianna had to back out of the trip, but her younger brother Cage volunteered to help come with Tom and I because we were going to need that help. And so that's what I said. The universe provides.
The universe provided, like, dude. The universe provided Bentli this weekend. All of her awesome friends hanging out all weekend long, dude. We felt like so lucky.
Yeah, we met a bunch of Bentli's other friends too from the area, which was cool. And yeah, they were all super nice.
And it was so cool to like kick it with a local, I swear. Like having that like Texas friend there, everybody was like, "What's up, y'all?" We were hanging out.
My y'all is very strong.
I heard so many y'alls and I love it. It was great. And Tom got his opportunity. He howdied a real Texan that was he like full on in like cowboy gear.
I did. Howdy, partner. That's what I said.
He felt
howdy.
like the most country guy he could find. He had like a handlebar mustache and the pearl snap shirt and the cowboy hat. Like he was like, "This is my guy. Like this is my chance."
That was awesome. That was perfect. Here, and I actually I grabbed this photo. I'm just gonna throw it real quick. My mom said to show it, so let's throw it. But that was our dude from the show.
Dude,
so they actually painted in with white. So the white is actually just shaved, but they just use the white to highlight it and make it look like little pop a little more.
But the fact
But
that
yeah,
they came
how
out.
cool is that?
Do you have any other
Uh,
pictures, Sean, to put up?
Uh, from the expo
Yeah.
or of his?
No, just like
I
of the
can
group or anything. And we got
um
a vlog coming
I
out. We
can try to
recorded a lot
transfer
of
them
it.
over, but yeah, right now they're mostly on my phone. But that's what I just switched that one over real quick, or like uploaded it. Um, but
What
yeah,
up,
I'll post some
Sparky?
more. Check out. I'm actually gonna post on my Facebook and Instagram, on the Live to Roll. So check it out. I'm gonna try to get whatever pics I have. Which, if you have any, send them to me. Either of you guys.
And Celtic Bear, to answer your question, trains, planes, or automobiles. I just added that last one. Uh,
I think it's gonna be
I
automobiles for the win on
yeah.
for
That's why
Tom.
I road trip everywhere. I mean, I feel so much safer, and I'm a control freak. And so you really have to let your inhibitions and your idea of how things are going to go are not going to always go your way, like as much so as it does when you have your own vehicle. And you having to, especially when you're in a big city like Houston, you can't roll everywhere. Like, you're gonna have to
No, that
drive
You're
like
gonna
30
need a car.
minutes like somewhere across town to get where you're wanting to go. And so the vehicle is where it's at as far as traveling. I love road trips. I feel like I experience more. I get to see different areas a little bit. I get in exploring, and it's you don't have to depend on TSA and the flight attendants and hope that you have somebody that's a decent human being that you have to interact with. Like,
I
yeah.
know. I know.
No, that is for sure. It's a lot easier, definitely.
Well, that
It's
was the other
just
thing that like it wasn't necessarily a damper on the experience, but like we did like kind of want to maybe like drive out to Galveston, like go check out like the Gulf like coast a little bit, like just do some things. Like a bunch of people after the expo, like everybody would go downtown and like drink and party and stuff, and like me and Sean are kind of stuck. And yo, I wouldn't trade those nights with like the boys for anything. Like, you know, screw the rest. Like we were having a ton of fun just together. But it
oh yeah,
still,
one of the nights it
like
would
it
have
would
been
have been
nice.
cool to
One of
roll
the
out.
nights
Yeah,
if we could have gone like a little farther. Like I mean, there was quite a bit to do in the area. Like there was a few, there was restaurants and stuff. Like it wasn't too
we
far.
got to go to
Everything was at least a half mile
OG.
to a mile push to get out, and the sidewalks weren't awesome in some places. But I mean, we got out. We missioned for sure. Especially that first day, Thursday. We like crazy. We're all over the town there. But
I'm so pissed. Somehow I've always had the best luck, especially in Houston. And every night I always go out on the town and just had the best luck on finding a taxi right away and get my ass, where I needed to. I've had good luck. So I was like, dang, man, I would have get your guys out there. And there's, depending on where you're at, there's one place to push to the tram uh, that you
oh,
could
see,
take.
that's what we could have looked up. We should have looked up like public
Yeah,
transportation and stuff.
Wherever I was had the train right there downtown. Like, if we would have been able to make it there, we would have been able to ride that train. Like, I got a picture. You can see like the tracks. Like, there was
yeah,
the train access, like the tram. I'm unfamiliar with the, trolley, whatever the hell. Like,
yeah.
it's one of the two. But there, if we could have made it all downtown, then that would have been feasible.
And shout out Bryce, who is another homie that I met out, or we all met
Yeah,
out
no, we
in
met a lot of cool quads.
Bryce and Gary. Yeah, they're just a couple cool quads. And Bryce even like messaged me like, "Yo, dude, I got a van. Like, we could, Sean could transfer and you could roll with us. Like, we could make a trip out to Galveston." But we were just really fried Sunday
That was
night,
Sunday night, and by that
and
time we were wiped.
like I
But
had to
yeah,
pack, and like we had an early morning, and I just had to chill and get my stuff
That's right.
together.
Sean, when you're at the expo, or Tom, do not do the wall. Wait until you go to maybe the Casa event or something like that, because I did it once, and I could not move my arms for like 3 hours.
I
After.
knew it. That's like they're
Good.
like go
That's a
for it.
good
And I'm
point.
like, I'm not gonna be
Once
able
you're
to
pulling, and
move.
all of a sudden I was just like this
Oh.
for about 2 hours going.
And I'm feeling it, dude, because like just from the pushing, that's why they actually the one dude, shout out Adriel, who we had on the show for a second on Sunday, I think, that does all the adaptive rec in sports out there. He
Yeah.
offered, he's like, dude, I'll bring you a low point chair, I'll find one that fits you. He's like, you want to jump in for rugby with us? And I was honestly tempted, but I knew that that was gonna be like the straw that just like destroyed me. Like that was the one that was gonna break the back, like because I was already like every day just like. Cage actually again saved me a few times, like even through carpets, like when we were going down the hallways, like to the pool, he'd be like, "Here, I got you for a minute." Like, all right, fuck. He just like give me a quick breather on my arms for a second, because like we're just constantly pushing, like pushing
the
to
first
the expo,
day, I
from the
thought I
expo,
was gonna
at the
lose
expo,
Shawn
like,
for a minute. Like we got a little overheated on Thursday
my arms,
because we had
yeah.
to go to Big Lots to get a table, and it was like a mile to Big Lots, and then probably like a mile back to this like center or whatever. And Cage was carrying the table, so there was no pushing Shawn, and we were just like we were cruising, but like
Oh,
we would like the place wasn't accessible like the way we went the first time, like the main entrance
we
to
messed
the
up.
NRG center or whatever, and we had to like backtrack, like hop down curves and stuff, and thankfully again the universe provided for us this weekend
Yes.
because we needed it. The like this woman had frozen water bottles in a cooler, and she just gave one to Shawn. She was like, "You want this?" And dude, Shawn
Yep.
pushed to the shade and was like, "I gotta stop, dude. I gotta stop." And like, you just put your head down, and I was like, "Oh, oh fuck, like don't, we're right there, bro." I'm like, don't pass out on me." So I'm like, Cage, like put the table down, grab the water bottle, like open it up, pour it on his head, quick. And dude, he did, like, and
Yep.
I'm like, he's like, go real slow. I'm like, no, bro, just pour it on him. And I'm like, he did, dude. He just like poured some water on his head.
Yeah, I covered
And
my head in ice water, dude, and like that. I honestly, if it wasn't for the ice water bottle, I don't like. I was gonna pass out by the
Dude.
time I got into the
I'm
convention
not-
center that day. Like it
Like,
was,
my
it was
mom-
like 95 degrees with like 70% humidity. The sun was out too, like so it was like for spot, like it would come out for little spots and just hit you and just. I was struggling. Yeah. So the
Dude,
universe,
I-
bro. Everything we like. I was dying. I went up to ask this lady, like, "Are we?" Just because, like, I didn't want to go backtracking anywhere. I was like, "Is this the right way?" She's like, "Yeah." You need a water, honey? I'm like, yes. So it's just like one of those things. Like, yeah. I mean, just when you're in need.
Oh,
man,
and
sometimes-
later that night, we got stuck at Walgreens in a torrential downpour. So, like,
Yeah, no, we just hung out at Walgreens for like 25 minutes and waited for the
So,
storm.
it
Because
was,
Tom
like,
gets on his
dying
phone,
from
he's like,
heat.
Apple says it's going to be 19 more minutes and it'll clear up. And sure damn enough, it cleared up in like 20 minutes and we went back.
they were talking shit. I was like, we should wait it out, you guys. I'm like, my phone's telling me. They're like, there's no way it can be that accurate. I'm like, but like, trust an Apple, okay? They were right. But it was sticky. It was humid. It was hot. It was like 100+ degrees all weekend, and it was like, yeah, seriously, like 80% humidity. Like the last day was beautiful. The last day was real pretty. Right as we were flying out, it was pretty nice. It was still hot, but pretty nice. And like my mom was pretty worried about the heat for me, like the whole weekend. As she kept saying, like, so worried because I get like that too. Like I get like Shawn, where I just pass the threshold and I start to experience like heat sickness, and like it gets bad like real quick. But I grew up in the desert. Like I grew up in Mojave. I grew up, like going to the desert a lot when I was a kid, and like I feel like I am a little conditioned for it. Maybe even more so than some other quads, because like I don't know, especially being here in the valley for the last 10 years, like you feel the heat, you learn how to deal with it, like because you have to. But that water saved me a little bit too. But I was scared for Shawnee Boy for a minute there. I was like, oh God, we're so close. Let's just make it.
Yeah, no, that was a little rough. But yeah, all the little rough patches, like I said, man, things just kind of worked out for us. We made it through, and yeah, it was awesome.
Part of it was
and
the
shout out,
attitude,
somebody
too.
asked. what the next one was going to be, and we're going to Phoenix in 5 weeks. And yes, we're road tripping that. Nobody's flying. No, we're going to drive unless Bobby. I think Bobby said he wanted to fly or something, but
No, I you know,
but that's cool,
I
Bobby. We'll have vehicles for you
yeah.
when you're there.
No, I know, and I feel bad for Tom, and we can talk afterwards. Some other tricks that I use, and we can talk about it in an episode. So I'd love to,
Yeah.
love,
Yeah,
love to.
And I'll shout out the trick that I use because I used to struggle with my spasticity so bad on planes. And now I will not fly without eating a gummy before, a weed gummy, an edible, because that's literally what saves me and keeps my legs and my whole body from freaking out on the plane. Because the first like 5 flights I had, I was just completely out of control until I figured out, oh wow, I ate a gummy and that really helped. So yeah, that's
I'm definitely
my
gonna take
one.
some steps. I mean, the only reason I didn't eat a gummy is because sometimes gummies like mess with my stomach. And I was afraid of that exact thing happening. I
No
was like,
worries, man.
I can just get through. I'll be fine. But it's yeah, I don't know. Like I at the end there, it's very scary being dysreflexic, especially when it's like severe AD. And I was sitting in that space for a couple hours, and it was just really really sucky to be stuck on a plane like feeling like that for a long period of time.
Well, the worst one was in Vegas because they had construction. Tom was on the aisle chair for an hour almost because like in the airport they had to wheel him out of the plane all the way up the jetway and into the airport. Like actually had to like sit him in the airport on the aisle chair. Like we were just up in the waiting area, just waiting. So like I've never seen that before with anybody I've flown with or
I've
any time.
never, yeah. So why'd they do that? Just because they needed
The
the
lift
plane.
was the lift was broken for the power chair. They could not get his power chair up, and because of construction, they had to take it almost all the way around the airport and manually push it all the way around back in and up some ramp or whatever to get it up to where we were in the terminal. So yeah, that one was rough. That one was like, damn.
Well, then that's where
But we got some
sometimes-
vouchers for it. So Tom was like, "Yo, this sucks. You got to hook us up," and they gave us some little bit of money voucher for anybody
For
because
next
you had
flight.
to be on your cushion.
for all three.
You had your cushion with you, Tom, right? Or
Yeah, but I didn't put it on the aisle chair because I wasn't
no, you
like
can't get it on me.
yeah, it just doesn't fit. I
No,
did have
but
my
what-
cushion.
Yeah, one time when they needed the plane right away, my chair wasn't up yet. They rolled me up, and I just said, "Hey, you're putting me in this chair because I can't sit on this that long." So I put my cushion down on one of the airport wheelchairs. It was a lot better than using the aisle chair. I'm like, get my ass this aisle chair. And I'm sure maybe that's where some of your dysreflexia comes from, over the course of the weekend, because those things are like, they got to get you off it, or you just got to like put me anywhere. Like I'd be like, put me on the floor and lay me on my stomach before I'm gonna sit in this thing any longer. So, oh my gosh, that is so.
Yeah.
I don't know, Shawn. Did you see? I don't know if it came out because it's a website. I put it in the chat, but it's advocacy taking action for air carrier support for amendment rights. So I don't know if it came through.
We're gonna do a whole episode on the air travel stuff. Like I do really.
I don't know if it came through. It didn't even come up in the other thing. Yeah.
Oh,
we kept a positive attitude the whole time, right up until the very end is when I got negative.
And then Tom lost his shit.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit. Like I didn't go crazy, but
no, I'm just.
I was just being I was being vocal about how I felt for the first time, like in this whole experience, and I felt a little bit bad for the poor guy David, whose job was to listen to me. But at the same time, and I said it to them, they are the most power to speak to the higher ups and be like, hey, this isn't right. This isn't right for the people that are affected by it. It isn't right for the workers that have to deal with it, see it, hear it. Like, it's just not right. And they are in a position to speak to somebody about making it better and bringing about some meaningful change. And, like they want to have the conversation with me too, all the better. But they see it every day. They have to. I hear the stories, I see the stories. Like, I know I'm not the only one that experiences this. Like, I know I'm not the only one that has, like, got a little upset at the end of their travel because their shit was broken and they were broken. You know, they were broken spiritually and they were broken physically because like a few simple things that could be done to make it better weren't and aren't. So we'll talk about it more. The trip was great. I do not regret it at all. My body's fine, nothing that won't heal up, and I'm a little sore, but it's a good sore because it's reminded me of the awesome times with my homies and like all the people that I met this weekend at the expo. Because yeah, as like shady as the airlines were, like that's not really the focus of the trip. It was all the love and all the friends and all the good memories we made and all the new family we made along the weekend. So
Yeah.
yeah, like
And
that was it.
just my grandma put earlier for Bentley. It was such a delight to meet you. My grandma loved you. I think I know my family loved you. She
I
said
loved
so.
Velma. I did. Yeah, I was mad at Captain Crunch because of him being rude to your grandma and your mom. Like,
I know that
there,
security guard
yes,
dude. Yeah.
Bobby. There was a really rude security guard that looked like Captain Crunch. They had the full white beard. He's Santa, like the blue shirt. He was mean to Velma and Donna, and so I was like not very happy like about that guy. I loved them so much. When we all went to Olive Garden, Tom got to do his first experience of endless breadsticks, and they just were so we. It was Donna's birthday, so doing that OG experience.
And they really took care of us. Like we had an awesome waiter, Junior, who had an awesome personality. Um, and
Don't
it's really
not
friendly.
know.
And he brought us a bunch of cake at the end and stuff, which was really cool, really sweet. Um, and I'm
So
telling you, like
yeah, the Houston
the
hospitality was amazing.
Houston, like we no, there was like not a single person we met in Houston that was like unkind. The only real unkindness I met was like that a-hole in the bathroom in Phoenix, dude. But
That
yeah,
was in Phoenix.
nasty people like that. Yeah, like you can't change them. You just have to deal with them. But we're super excited for Phoenix. I'm super excited for the next 2 or 3 days just to chill out and recover in my space. And yeah, start to we got an Amtrak video coming out talking more about the train. We're gonna probably do a little playing video too. I know Shawn's talked
Yeah,
about this stuff
I'm gonna
before,
start
but
uploading and editing this footage from this
yeah,
weekend.
man, I'm gonna
Probably
put it on
tomorrow,
my
but I
computer.
don't. Tonight I'm just gonna be. I gotta just hang out for a little bit. I've been going all morning
Yeah,
even.
dude.
And then day
Heck
after
yeah,
tomorrow,
dude.
we're both going. Like, no
Yeah,
breaks.
I'm going to Big Bear
Yeah,
on Thursday for water skiing, so I'm
dude,
like,
I
And
I
know.
then
Like,
gotta
I
look
fly
get
at
some
out
you,
to
recovery.
Maverick.
And you're
Boston.
going on your trip to Boston, like, yeah, that's gonna be, yeah, dude.
Yeah, I
Shout
might
out
have some
Bentley and your
airport
badassness.
stories for you guys by the time I come back.
Ho-
I've never gone
Hopefully
that
not.
far.
No, no, Bentley, it's gonna be all positive vibes. Like I know the trip's gonna go easy, and then Boston's gonna be dope. So
In the
And here,
it's gonna
harbor.
just
be
so
all
people want to
good.
know, these Phoenix September 9th to the 11th is when that's coming up next month. And also, shout out because I am so bad at this, but hey, we have to thank our sponsors, Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals. Mobility Professionals is a mobility specialist here in Southern California. And so if you're looking for a wheelchair and commode chair, any type of adaptive device, give them a call and they can hook you up. They're here in SoCal, but anywhere, if you're anywhere in the area, please look them up. And then Urology Professionals is their sister company, and they're nationwide. They do catheter supplies, so if you're looking for catheter supplies, you need your monthly catheter order, give them a call. They can take care of insurance, take care of you. Super friendly. They have quads and people in the community that are working there, and just always helpful and friendly people. So yeah, thank you guys.
Dang, soundbite that. Add it to a button. That was a solid little commercial, Shawn. That was a good read, bro. That was a good read, bro.
Thanks, man. And I'm gonna also give ourselves a quick shout out for being 2022 best of YouTubers with paralysis, voted by
Yeah.
SpinalCord.com, and also, whoops, wrong one.
Wrong graphic.
Also Best Paralysis Podcast 2022, spinalcord.com. So yeah,
So
shout us
we were the
out.
only one that made both. We're the only one.
Yeah,
that
and
made
we were the only
both.
one. There's like 5 on each list, but we were the only ones that made both of those lists. So yeah, shout out to us.
What the difference is, we're still trying to discern. No, just kidding. We're all YouTubers with paralysis out here.
Yeah, we are.
No, but it was really
yeah.
amazing to meet everybody who might be watching this later on out in Texas. It was so cool, you guys. So much love. I just want to give a big shout out to everybody. What up, the Everyday Wheelchair
seriously.
Ninja?
And yeah, thanks,
And yo,
Anthony.
Anthony,
Yeah,
it
what's
was
up, guys? Everybody,
especially
thank you, guys.
especially awesome kicking with you, bro, at the end, man. That was really cool. I won't
And look at the
mention any alleged information that might have to be cut out of this podcast at a later date, because Texas does have some funny laws. But just let's just say we had a chill time after the expo.
yeah,
But,
it was good.
yo, dude,
and
shout
I think
out
Bentley's
Good
got
Blood.
a.
Is that the little puppy? Is that the puppy
Yeah.
we see the
Hi.
pictures of?
It's like
Hi.
she's done with this
What's up,
podcast. She's like, dude, I need your attention now.
It's
She's been sitting on my couch whining. I can hear her. I was like, shh, shh, trying to mute her. But she's really mad. Like, she's really mad I've been gone. And so she's going to be really mad in about 2 more days.
I know,
She's
that
been
sucks. The
stuck
dogs
on
hate it.
me.
I know. Yep, yeah, my dogs hate it too. Yeah,
I've
they're
missed
so
her,
happy when you
though.
get
Like,
back.
we cuddled
And then,
all night. Like, it was good to have her to, like, sleep with. She sleeps in the bed with me. So that was nice. I didn't realize how much I missed, like, having a big old thing to cuddle with.
yeah, that's
that's
awesome.
awesome.
All
Dog
right,
food,
should we wrap up the show? You guys have been going for
Yo,
a bit
we
now.
didn't shout it out earlier. I don't know if you're still watching, but Olivia dropped a $40
Oh, yeah.
super chat.
I know. Yes,
for the
Olivia,
cat
thank you
fan.
so much. The
Yeah.
super ch-
We love you so
Tom-
much, Olivia. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, thank you
We
for supporting.
appreciate
You're
you.
awesome, Olivia. And actually, I got a dope shirt for you next time I see you. We made some Wheel Bad Bitch shirts. I know I got one for you. So
Yeah, I may have promised
Some
a
other-
shirt to someone on one of the Expo casts too, Shawn. So I'll talk to you about that, man.
no worries. And Quad Life, we're not making it to Miami. I wish we could. I honestly wanted to.
Oh,
but
bro,
we do
that's
not
the
have
one
the
we
budget
want to
for
go
that.
to.
Throw us some sponsorships from somewhere, guys. We need some more sponsors, and send us to Miami.
Yeah.
But for now, we're not going to be able to do that. Yeah, Phoenix is going to be our last one for the year. This is kind of our little three Expo travel tour. So yeah, that'll be the last one for this year, I think. But we appreciate all you guys that have been coming out. And thank you guys for watching, especially if you're watching from the Houston Expo. If you just met us and you're new to the show, we really appreciate you guys watching and taking the time to hang out with us. We hope you enjoyed it, if you did.
Thank
yeah,
you
we're
guys
back
so
every
much
week.
for having me come with you. Like, I just had to say thank you. I had the best time.
Honestly, Bentley, we're so glad you were there. You're awesome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out and doing everything. Bentley was the shit. Like, on Saturday, she's like chasing some girl down like 5 booths to give her a Wheel Bad Bitch sticker. Like, this chick
Hey,
took off in her
fast.
power chair.
Like,
But she was like,
We
yo,
need some
I
more
know this chick
chasers,
needs one.
okay? I'm the only one that would chase people
down.
down. Bentley
Yeah,
saw
no,
that.
Tom
She was
and-
like, let's go.
Yeah, Tom and Bentley dude, Bentley followed it. She was like, yeah, I'll chase you. So yeah, no,
sticker
shout out.
slingers.
That was awesome. Yeah, no, that was so cool. But yeah, thank you so much, Bentley. Honestly, you're awesome. I can't wait till we get to hang out again in person. So
Same.
hopefully,
Yo, I
it
can't
won't be
wait
too
until when you
long.
get to kick it at a tattoo expo. We can do the
No.
Tom gets his first tattoo.
We're getting
live
Tom's first
content.
tattoo.
It's happening. Like, we already got
He's
it all
fallen
set
in
up.
love
Like,
with one of my artists, like dope anime
oh
stuff.
my god,
like,
dude! Like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be sick. And it's gonna be some fun content too.
We're gonna
I
have
don't
a
know if I've
whole
seen any
Chiral
videos like that.
excursion for the tattoo convention. That's for
Yeah.
sure. I'm gonna show y'all my world.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
we
I'm
can't
so
wait.
down.
We can't wait, Bentley.
Let's
It's
do
gonna be
this.
sick.
Yeah, that's gonna be so fun, man. Oh my god.
You can go too, Bobby. You can get some more ink, bro.
I'm ready to get this arm kind of complete down to the wrist.
Let's
so.
all get tatted.
Oh,
yes.
let's do this.
Oh my god, dude! Let's all go and get a tattoo together. How awesome would that be, dude? That would be so.
We'll all get the Live to Roll emblem right there.
Oh my god, bro!
I'm down.
Yeah.
I already have
Done.
Live to Roll tattooed across my chest, but I'll get another. I'll get the actual current
Right
logo.
Get it right there. Just breathe. I got just breathe.
I'm
down.
trying to talk y'all into coming to my next human suspension event, so y'all can be present.
I know. I want
watch.
to in January, right?
That's if all goes well. If the team's down, it's my birthday. Like I want y'all to be there. Like if it's not in January, I want y'all to come for my next suspension. Like it's gonna be awesome. We'll get tattooed, watch some crazy shit. Like it's.
I am
so.
so. Yes, dude. I really
Send
want
us
to do
the
it.
info. Keep us updated. We're coming.
Of course.
All right, you guys. Thank you all for watching. We're back every Tuesday with live shows. So we'll be back next Tuesday at 3:30, and Brianna is back the first and third Thursdays of the month.
It's
so
Thursday.
not in 2 days, but next week she'll be on with the women and doing a ladies show. So check that out as well, and look for our vlog videos and Amtrak videos coming out soon here.
That's 5 and 5:30 for you Central.
Yes, 5 and 5:30 for all our people in Houston.
I just
All our
wanted to make
Central.
sure we, shout that out in case you guys try to tune in early. And yeah, we got some fun content coming out. It's just the train's still rolling and it's about to start chugging along at a faster rate. So hop on and be ready for a crazy ride, guys, because the end of the world's gonna be the end of the year is gonna
Till
be
the
pretty
wheels
wild.
fall off.
Till the wheels fall off. I love it. All right, you guys. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back next week. We appreciate you all in the chat. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.